In this video, I'm going to share why your tone and your voice are so much more important than your body language and what you can do to improve your voice so that you can use it for your benefit. My name is Heather Hansen. For 20 years, I was a trial attorney and I taught my witnesses how to make the case for their ideas in the courtroom. And now I work with leaders and entrepreneurs and salespeople, teaching them how to make the case for their ideas and their products. Today, I'm going to talk to you about tone of voice, why it's so much more important than body language, and what you can do to tap into the power of your tone of voice and use it to make the case for your ideas, your money, your pocketbook, your time, any of the things that you want. So, tone of voice. I used to be a huge student of body language, and I still study it quite intently. I've read most of the body language books. I've seen a lot of the body language videos, and I know that body language does have some impact on people. However, there is a recent study out of Yale that tells us that you can tell more about a person's emotions from their tone of voice than from their body language and facial expressions combined. Now, this is really important when you are making the case and advocating for something that you want. And it's important for two reasons. One is that it tells us the importance of listening. If you are making the case for something you want and you hear doubt or confusion or frustration or boredom in the other person's voice, it's time to change your pitch. We'll come back to that in another video. But the other reason that this is so important is because you want your voice to reflect your confidence, your clarity, your enthusiasm, my favorite thing to reflect in my voice is your delight. You want your voice to reflect those things and not to reflect doubt or confusion or bitterness or frustration or resentment. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing might be the hardest thing, and that is to change our beliefs, because your beliefs impact your emotion, and then your emotion is heard in your tone of voice. So if I am not believing in myself, if I am having doubts and I believe I'm not up to the task, you will hear that in my voice. If I am believing that I should have had this job 10 years ago and I'm feeling resentment, you will hear that in my voice. If you believe that there's someone who can do this job better than me, and so I'm feeling a little bit of frustration and a little bit of confusion, you will hear that in my voice. And so our first job as advocates for the things that we want, for our ideas or our innovations or our teams or our potential, is to get ourselves in full belief, to build our own belief in the things that we're advocating for. I always say you can't prove it if you don't believe it. And so you've got to tell yourself stories that increase your belief, your delight, your clarity, your enthusiasm, whatever it is that you want your voice to reflect. And then you've got to collect and create evidence that will make you believe as well. These beliefs have a huge impact on us and our bodies and our voices. There's all kinds of studies about how beliefs impact those things. They're often kind of under the umbrella of placebo studies, where we know that if, for example, you believe that something is poison ivy and you're allergic to poison ivy, you may very well break out in a rash, even if it's not poison ivy. Or another study that I absolutely love is about a group of people that were taking the GRE, a graduate education entrance exam. And they split them into two groups. And one of the groups was told that their anxiety about taking the exam was actually a benefit to them. It was going to make them better at taking the exam because it was going to lead to more blood flow to the brain, which would make them smarter. The other group was not told that. And the group that was told that the anxiety would make them better did better, not only in the practice exam, but later on the actual exam. Your beliefs do then impact your emotions, which then impact your actions and your results. So if you want your voice to reflect a certain emotion, get to the place, the thoughts, the beliefs that bring on that emotion, and then it will happen naturally. Now, many of you are thinking, well, that's great for you, but I still have a little bit of doubt. I'm still nervous. I'm still not sure that my voice is going to reflect delight the way that you tell us to do. So then what? And there are some things that we can do. Embodied cognition is a relatively new idea and area of research and study, but it's the idea that our bodies actually impact our brains. So we tend to think that we are just heads walking around and our bodies. John Mulaney, the comedian, had a joke that said that our bodies are just here to carry our head from room to room. And we tend to think that that's true, but it's not true. Our bodies are sending signals to our brains all the time. And you can use that to your benefit and use it for your voice. So for example, a smile, if you smile, even a fake smile, that will change your brain and make you think that you are actually more happy. That will impact your tone of voice. But as important, smiling changes the shape of your vocal cords. And when you change the shape of your vocal cords with a smile, your voice sounds more warm. It sounds more inviting. So you want to smile, even if it feels fake, because it will change your brain, which then impacts your voice, and it will change your vocal cords, which impacts your voice. Another area of research in embodied cognition is your tension and the tension that you hold in your jaw and your neck and your shoulders. When you are holding tension in these parts of your body, your brain thinks that you are in danger. So that's going to reflect in your voice. But if you relax your jaw and your neck and your shoulders, that will reflect in your voice as well. And tension creates strain for your vocal cords. So the more that you can relax this part of your body before you speak, the more your voice is going to sound warm and inviting and confident. One of the things when I was trying cases, it's a tense situation, I would have to repeat to myself over and over again, this is my mantra, no shoulders as earrings. It was a great mantra for me because it allowed me to have a visual that I did not want this up here and just relax. It's something that my yoga teacher used to say during class, no shoulders as earrings. And I would remember to drop my shoulders. And now I remind myself of that before I give a keynote speech, before I create some content for some of my corporate clients on how to do this work. I remind myself, relax the jaw, relax the neck, relax the shoulders, smile. All of these things will impact my vocal cords and make my voice sound so much more warm and inviting and confident. And then the third thing is your posture. Your posture, what your body does, tells your brain how to feel. And so if you are scrunched up and slouching, your brain is going to it's going to believe that you are less confident than if you are standing up straight. So that's going to make your voice sound different. And your posture impacts your diaphragm, the amount of air that gets into your lungs, your ability to speak through your mouth. All of those things are impacted by your posture. So you want to be aware of your posture, the relaxation here, and your smile to impact your tone of voice. Now, the third thing about this that's important is there are some exercises that will help you with your tone of voice. The first is to yawn. When you yawn, you open up your throat, and that opens up that space where your vocal cords are, and that tends to make your voice sound more warm and inviting. In a similar way, if you hum before you have to give a presentation, it loosens your vocal cords and will make your voice sound different as well. So it's really important, first of all, to just understand that your voice is this amazing, magical tool that has probably been untapped. It's also important to note because we often talk about body language like stand up straight and open your shoulders and open your hands, but you sometimes forget about all that. And so a lot of the work that will help you with tone of voice is before the presentation to really get yourself in a place of belief, no matter what that looks like. The reason I talk about asking for what you want with delight is because the definition of delight is great pleasure. There are so many ways to take pleasure in asking. You might take pleasure because you know what you're asking for is the best thing for you. You might take pleasure because you know it's the best thing for the person you're asking. You might take pleasure because you know it's the best thing for your entire team or your family. There's so many ways to find pleasure in asking for what you want and making the case for what you want. And so you really want to get to that place where your belief leads to your energy, leads to your actions, leads to your results. I call that the bear. Belief, energy, action, result. And that's why I do so much work with people in the beliefs, because that will lead to your energy and your action and your result. And if you want to impact your results, you've got to get to the energy, especially when it comes to tone of voice. And then you've got to remember, smiling makes your voice more warm. Relaxing makes your voice more warm. And posture makes your voice more warm. And then to make sure right before you go on stage or go out to do a pitch, you want to do some yawning and do some humming. And those two things are going to make your voice sound so much more warm. If you like this video, I have another great video for you, 3 ways to sound confident without bragging. A link to that one will be below. But in the meantime, remember, that tone of voice is magic. Use it to your benefit, and you will be surprised at how much you can actually achieve with it. I hope that this works well for you. I'd love to hear your comments. And in the meantime, take good care.